All right. Welcome everybody for another wonderful Tuesday here at the Acti event page, where we are always super excited to share with you guys some of our games and some of the uses and share our thoughts on it and get some even smarter experts in here like Armand is today to put their thoughts on it. So welcome to the platform. And with me today, I have, as shortly mentioned, Armand here. It's not your first time with us, Armand. So we're really, really happy that you wanted to partake yet again.
Yeah.
So happy for you for your input. So Armand, you've actually been collaborating with Acti for quite some years, right?
Yeah, for quite some time, and we've been actually building some games together also. And Agenda Kaipang, which is the company I work in, we have also built our custom games, working with health technology in the public sector. So we made some change management games for that. So yeah, we were psyched about Acti Change. Sure.
I'm really excited to hear your thoughts on this game. I'm not actually sure if you know it that well, but this is also a game in the sort of hospitality sphere. So it's going to be interesting to see what you guys have maybe done differently or maybe done very much the same.
Hmm.
That's going to be very interesting. And then our other expert of the day is Anders, our very own Acti Anders, who has also been here for a very long time with the Acti team.
Yeah,
Do you have a number of
I
years on
think
it?
we're approaching 8.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's been a
so
while.
quite a
Yeah,
while.
that's a
So
Yeah,
while.
Anders is our
this is the first time I get the invitation for this type of of event. So thank you for that, Ida.
no, we're so happy to have you here, Anna. So you are the head of game development here at Acti. So
Mhm.
you are definitely the one who has probably the most deep expert knowledge in how you actually create these games, how the playability of it should be set up, and all of the points and theory layers and so on. So it's also going to be really interesting to have you in for this game we're playing today.
Happy to be here.
So happy to have you both on board. So what is going to happen today, much like any other Acti event, is we're going to try to follow the agenda. So first, I'm going to do a very brief introduction about what is Acti, who are we, and what do we do, just for those few of you out there who don't know us yet. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the game itself, so the theory layers a little bit, and what it's about, so that you guys are prepped to play it when we get there. Then I'm gonna get Armand and Anders to actually battle each other in this game we're about to play and see who is the best at leading two hospitals through a merger. And you guys are gonna get the link at the same time, so you can play alongside with Anders and Armand. And then if we have time in the end, we will do a quick Q&A. So welcome, and I'm hoping that everybody is excited as I am about today. If you like, please just write in the comments that you're here, you're excited, or you're sad, or whatever you're feeling in this very moment. Maybe feeling a little bit of the winter depression. Maybe you're super excited because you're on the other side of the continent and it's becoming summer. I don't know, but just drop down whatever you have in your heart at the moment. All right. So, what is Acti? Well, we have been here for 15 years. Not Anders and I, but Leif, our CEO and founder, has been here for 15 years with Acti. And we actually are super proud to have more than 150 games and simulations on our platform. And it is, of course, becoming a bigger and bigger portfolio basically from day to day, because it's getting so much easier to create these games. And of course, we are getting more and more issues we need to take care of as well. We have already 70 different theories and methodology layers in the platform, making it really, really easy to kind of make games on the subjects that we are already experts on here at Acti. And then we have over 2,500 certified partners worldwide, who are basically our activists, we like to call them, because they are the ones using Acti, they are the ones creating games with Acti, and they are really the activators behind the whole shebang. And we're really, really proud to have them with us. And this map behind the numbers you see, all of the blue, it's not the sea, it is countries, but it's actually where Acti is being played at the moment. So we're really, really proud of this map where it's showing that we are actually a very global company. All right. Now, as mentioned, we are, of course, making a lot of games. Our partners are making even more games, and it's on a lot of different topics, a lot of different pains that it's addressing. And all of the, you can see a list here up on the screen of some of these pains, and some of them you can say leadership is a very, very broad topic, whereas other things like gender equality is a little bit more narrow. But no matter what pain you're dealing with, it's very difficult to separate it and sort of pull it out so that it's just that one pain you're addressing in a game or simulation. They are very often completely bundled together and knotted and intertwined, so you cannot really separate them, meaning that these very, very complex real world issues that we have to deal with in our everyday can become incredibly intangible and complicated, which is where we at Acti then try to sort of make these very real life scenarios as true to what the issue in an organization could be. And Amund, I think I asked you this question before. Do you have a favorite pain?
Yeah, you did ask me before.
I love this question.
Yeah, actually, the writing is a bit small here now, but the paints, which are always interesting, it's culture, of course, and it's new technology, and it's maybe new management or leadership styles. If you changing the organizational setup.
Yeah. So you are very much, if I have understood you correctly by now, Amund, it is very much this sort of, you're the person in between both the technological changes and the people.
Yeah.
Like you are living well in this sort of middle space.
Exactly. That's sort of the sweet spot, if you want, if you will. Being a consultant, it is the sweet spot. You know, we have culture and people on one side, and technology and management, and
because
merging and blending these things, making them work.
Because it's not difficult enough to only deal with one or the other. You just stepped it up a little there and took both of them.
Yeah, strategy, technology, culture, organization. You just mix up all four.
All right, and those are not necessarily four easy ones to mix up. So very exciting to see how you're going to do in this game we're playing.
Not sure. It's a brand new game for me, so we'll just, we'll see.
That's okay. At least you're not playing against life then. So there's really no shame in not completing this on top, because life is not here to make you feel bad about it.
Yeah.
All right. So last thing about Acti, I think, is that we, of course, have these different learning spaces we can utilize with the Acti platform. So either you can play it physically around a floorboard. So you can see behind me here, I have an example of one of the floorboards. So you can also see in the bottom right of the presentation pictures how you are actually standing around this physical floorboard, moving physical pieces around. And then in the other pictures, you can see how it's also an option to play it fully digitally online. So you get all of the data. You can follow every single player around the cycle or whichever game board you're playing on. And then you can also do it hybrid, doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Anders, I don't know, as our head of game development, do you think that there are some of our games that are better for one setup than the other? Or like, what is your opinion about how the game should actually be played out in real world?
Well, I think it's a good question, and it's something that comes down to the purpose of the workshop that you're conducting. So in most cases, we like to suggest using a floorboard and or the host view combined. It is most suitable for playing one of the longer games, like the one we are trying today, where people will have to choose multiple options in each chapter and then really get into the discussions between the groups. So we like to put people into groups of 3 to 5 people. That seems like a good balance between different inputs, different experiences, and with still maintaining the ability for the group to have a meaningful discussion. If you are trying to have people discuss an approach forwards in a game like this, and you have 10 people in a group, it will take a very long time to to come up with the right solution. So we tend to suggest using this size of groups, and perhaps even utilize the floorboard to make all the groups come together. It's a way of conducting debriefings in between chapters, and where the groups will then be allowed to share their experience with the other groups whom they might have not been talking to previously. So I tend to like the grand version of the workshops with all the tools combined.
With
It
everything at
really,
once.
yeah, exactly.
And how about you, Armand? Is that also more or less how you utilize the Axie platform, or have you got
Yeah.
a different approach?
Yeah, no, we use floorboards. Depending on the group, we have from 1 to 3 floorboards at once. If we have really big groups, we'll use 3 floorboards. But we'll play digital and physical because we make the moves digital, and then we go down and move all the pieces and have a discussions like you see in the picture. So we combine them.
All right. So that really does seem to be the way to go for the best
Yeah,
sessions. All
absolutely.
right. Okay, so the game we are going to be playing today is called Under Common Roof, and it is the short version of the game because otherwise we would never be able to complete it in one session. So it is just 3 of the chapters from this merger that you need to immerse yourself in. And basically, what it is that there are 2 hospitals that are being merged. And your role is to lead them through this merger. Both, of course, there are some structural things, there are some cultural things, and there are some completely practical things that need to be taken into account when you are leading this change, right? Um, and yeah, as you can see, we have some focus areas, which of course is both. We have the change itself that needs to be moved, but we also have the resistance of your people, the unclarity, the culture and team building and leadership of it all, as well as aligning the workflows so that we also kind of get to the end of this change, of this merger, and complete it. So it's not simple at all. It's very, very complicated and a lot of things to take into account. So try to keep some of these things on top of mind when you are playing it through. There are 4 theoretical layers in this game. Rick Mauer is one of them. That is our normal layer on the cycle game board, which is explaining the resistance of your stakeholders. We will look into that when I get to the game board. Then we have the leave it model as well, which is also sort of aligning what should you be taking into account. Are you focusing on all of the different areas that you need to? Then we have the 6 leadership styles of Daniel Goleman, of course, and then we have the ADCAR model. I don't think that there's that much more to say about these theories before you play the game. Anders, you've built probably most of the games on our platform, or at least helped in designing them. When you see these 4 theories together, does that sort of give you some kind of tip as to what we are about to play?
Yeah, it definitely does. For sure it does. So these are some of the models that we use quite frequently. If we start with the resistance model by Rick Mora, it's a model that is very, very easy to grasp for players. So we tend to use that in many different change scenarios because the different resistance levels from 1 to 3, they are very easy to grasp without having to read anything ahead. If we then move into the Levitt model or the ADCAR model, those become a little more complicated to grasp from a distance. So it's something that players can utilize if they already have the knowledge, but it's not a prerequisite at all for playing the game. You will still be able to complete the games even though you don't have the existing knowledge of it. And then, as
Absolutely.
you said, we tend to use the six leadership styles by Daniel Goleman because they also provide a nice framework, and the different approaches to leadership and emotional intelligence is really something that's easy to grasp, but also quite complicated when you dive into it. So it's things, all these are theory layers that can be discussed all throughout the game or by the end of the game, and I get a feeling that we are going to go into a game here where there's going to be a lot of focus on alternating between reducing resistance, ensuring that the boat and all the stakeholders move forwards. Those things will be quite important in this version of the game.
Mm.
Mhm.
Thank you, Anders. Amund, is it the same theories that you have when in your game about the hospitality management?
Yeah, more or less. Normally,
Yeah.
we don't use all these models as once. Of course, we have Odgar and Rick Mauer's resistance model, but we don't always use the Daniel Goleman model.
No.
But yeah, it's pretty much the same. Absolutely.
Okay.
And this with management and leadership, of course,
Yes.
we do use that, but we use Cotter's thought on that.
Mm. All
It's,
right.
it's it's more binary. It's easier to communicate somehow.
All right. Okay. That's interesting. I I never heard anyone say that about the culture being more easy to communicate, but it sort of makes sense what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we've spent enough time not playing the game. So
Okay.
I'm going to explain a little bit about the game board itself and how to navigate in there for those of you watching. But Amund and Anders, if you guys could just start reading the text because there's a lot of it,
Sure.
then I will get going with showing how to get in. So in about 2 or 3 minutes, my colleague is gonna send you a link, and if you click that link, you will get to the game itself. And now I will just show you how to get in. So once you have the link, I just need to open an incognito because I already played the game. I forgot about that. So once you get the link, you click it and you arrive at the guest login page. So what you do is you add your name and your position, and then you actually join the session. And this is where you find the game. It's the short version of the game, as I mentioned. You simply click play game and you actually arrive at the beginning of the game. So you can take the tutorial, but I'm also going to show you what you need to know up here on the screen now if you would prefer. So here is all of the introduction text that you need to read to kind of understand the background of the game. I will also walk you through it in a second. Basically, your game board has a cycle. This is what we call the cycle of change. And your little blue boat here is the change. And the goal is to get the blue boat all the way around to field number 24, which means the completion of the change. The little dots here are your stakeholders that you're keeping track of, and you can click on them to kind of understand who they are, what they are thinking and feeling, and why they are standing where they are standing. And of course, the goal is to get your stakeholders inside the boat. The further out in the cycle they are, the more they are resisting the change. The further towards the center, the better. And they tend to move every choice you take. So don't get used to them being anywhere on your side or against you, because that really changes. Up here, you can, of course, review your last choices and see the history of the game you've been playing. Team Insights is your stakeholders. And you continue here. In this setup of the game, you have hours. So you have 100 hours. Those are your resources. So you can see each choice you pick is assigned how many hours you must use on said choice. So if I click on this one, I choose this one, I've spent 20 hours. I will get some feedback text and I will get some points. and then everything will move on my game board. And now you see I have 80 hours left. I think that is everything you need to know to understand how to use the game board. And I think also the link has been sent in the chat. Yes, it has, so that you should be able to get started. If you have any issues or questions at all, just make a comment in the comment section and one of my colleagues or I will be there to answer it shortly. Okay, so that was the brief game board. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm opening up the host view here, where I can track Amund and Anas and how they're doing in the game. So I'm quickly going to do a very short introduction. So the game is about a fusion between two hospitals. And sort of the next step of this process is that they have to physically get together and be together. And you're a leader of, I think, 250 co-workers, 250 people, and sort of in charge of your own department in this section, in this merger. And you basically have to try to make these two hospitals work, but these two hospitals have been seeing each other for competition for as long as they can remember, right? They are competitors, right? And now they have to collaborate and find a common culture to get going in. And I don't know, Amund, I know that maybe you are actually making a choice right now, but have you got experience with having to merge something or make something work, make something collaborate that really has no wish to do so?
Yes, I have worked with an IT department with two different sections who didn't really like to work together so much or didn't know how to work together. So we had
Okay.
to find, common areas where they could work together on new initiatives and new projects and try to tear these silos down.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it was really about culture, and but also they work with two different sets of technology. So yeah, this was a little bit of a challenge.
Okay, so did you actually have to create something completely new that they both could jump on board on, or did you end up picking one or the other's technology to continue?
Yeah, no, they continued working in each their sections, but with
Okay,
new like cross sectional initiatives. So it
all
wasn't
right.
like a big, super big change, but it was baby steps towards a new future state.
Yeah, okay.
That's yeah.
All right. Well, so in this case, it is more than baby steps you need, I think, Amon,
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah. This is big
they
bad.
really do not like each other, these two hospitals. All right. So I think that's everything that you really need to know about the first initial chapter here, and also that, of course, that efficiency is one of the goals for the merger as a whole. Um, how have you guys made your first choice? There we go.
Yeah. Well, if I should start, I kind of noted when reading the introduction that these are two different hospitals. One is very general in its approach, and the other one is highly specialized. And
Mhm.
they seem during the introduction, it's noted that they have previously competed against each other and view each other as counterparts. So I
Mm,
thought that it would be a good idea to try to like alleviate some of the pressure that has resulted in. So my first choice was really to try and reduce this resistance towards each other. There were a few options to choose from, but I ended up selecting number 18, which is called Step by Step,
mhm,
because it seemed like an option where we take things a little slowly. We look into what can be done at this time instead of trying to hardline my way through this. So I chose a kind of soft approach for my first option,
yeah.
trying to reduce resistance.
And I see it gave you 11 points.
Hmm. I'm happy with that so far.
Yeah. And here we go. Armand, you chose number 1.
Yeah, I chose number one. I don't know if it was a very good choice, uh, but I'm trying to make them understand the why behind the change,
Hmm.
motivating them to stay engaged and aligned in the long-term vision. Um, but again, yeah, I don't know if it was the best choice. Maybe.
But that's how you would do it out in the real world as well. It would be trying to create this understanding, a common understanding as the first step.
I think so because this is like if you think about the odd car model, is number
Hmm.
one is planning the change and aware. It's about awareness now, right?
Yeah.
Awareness and desire.
Yeah.
Why do we have to do this? Why is it a burning platform? Uh,
Mm.
why are we merging? Yeah,
Perfect. So basically giving them all of the understanding as to why this could be a valuable thing that is happening.
yeah.
All right.
Um,
And as you see, I know you guys have not made this a lot of choices yet because I'm keep disturbing you, but
yeah.
uh,
I made a few more. But,
yeah. All right. Well, if you guys would like to make your last 1 or 2 choices, then we can look at chapter 1 as a whole after that.
Sure.
Okay. And then meanwhile, I will give you peace for about 2 minutes. Enjoy. All right. So it looks like both of you have made it to the end of chapter 1.
Almost.
Almost.
most, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Anders, you're way ahead of me here, I see. Have you played the game before?
I must have.
I think you have.
That's the
Yeah.
only explanation here. All right. So, Almond, did you have some kind of strategy here? You mentioned for your first choice, you thought about the AdCal, at least kept it in your mind, right?
Yeah, I
In
just
the
wanted
process.
to work on more of the management side. The leadership side, like the
Hmm.
more soft skills. Bringing people together, understanding the culture, working more with the change management choices than
Yeah.
the more firm choices.
Yeah.
Which I find often is smart in the beginning of a process like this.
Yeah.
That was my overall strategy. But then again, I haven't really had time to read 28 choices
No. So I know that this is
before
also
going into
putting the
this.
game on an edge because you do not have the time that it takes to
Yeah,
play
it
this game.
is. Yeah, so it's a little bit of random bingo what I find here now.
Yeah.
But that's also a take on it.
Yeah, and I think what's a little bit interesting, and maybe Anas, you can help me answering that, is
Hmm.
that I see point wise, you have more points at
Yeah.
44.
Yeah.
But when I look at Amund's game board, so he is all of these black dots where Anas is the red.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So Amund is actually, his boat is further in the process than yours is.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that the point difference is then due to the stakeholders because
Yeah,
For sure.
Amund has some
they're
more
very
behind.
spread for me, and
Yeah.
I have a lot of people who have not made a move.
Mm,
Yeah. So technically, the stakeholders, whenever they move forwards by one step, that's 1 point. So the points are really easy to grasp in that sense. But well, in my situation, I have a lot of stakeholders that are in line with the boat, or at least close to it.
Yeah.
But for Amon's situation, he's created a foundation where these stakeholders can now pick up on the pace. So it's really just two different approaches, and during a facilitation, it really makes sense if two players have these different approaches to it,
Mm.
to not only look at points, but to discuss what are the pros and cons of two different approaches to this challenge right here.
Yeah.
So for me, I started with with choosing options that focus on soft skills. So I tried to have all the people who were currently in resistance. I tried to get them on board, and the most efficient choice I found was the option called the breakaways, which directly targeted the nurse who was degraded from or downgraded from a leadership position into
Mm.
a normal employee position. She was the one who started all the way back at resistance level 3, and that option was really effectful. She moved 7 steps ahead, I think. So I was pleasantly surprised that it actually did what I had hoped for.
That's nice because, like having read the introduction text, you're reading, like you get a lot of information, and I'm just reading, okay, you have 3 wards, and you have an extra clinic, and you have these 251 coworkers that you kind of need to take care of.
Yeah.
So, Anders, what made you say, okay, I'm going to spend X amount of hours on just her?
Well, the I could just see that she was all the way back and at resistance level 3. So it was actually somewhat of a gamble on my end. There could have
Mm,
been a situation where I tried to do something to move her forwards, but it wouldn't have helped. So I kind of gambled, and in this particular game, it worked. But in many real life situations, there sometimes people just need time. But in this particular case, it was efficient to address the issue that was explained in the beginning of the chapter. And that issue, of course, being that two people who were previously leaders, both of them, they now only needed one leader for the new ward. And
mm,
of course means that one of them is going to not be in that position anymore. And that is something that can be a bit vulnerable.
absolutely. I would not want to have to tell those two that that's happening.
Yeah. Well,
Do you have
the amount of
experience?
reflection you had, I'm impressed, Anders.
Thank you.
That's really good.
Have you tried that something similar, Armand, having to kind of like this you're having two leaders, now you only need one, choosing, and then also having to kind of make it work again afterwards, like bring the happiness back into the employee and not making them feel a little bit overseen?
Well, I only observed this situation from a distance. I haven't been directly involved in it myself. But
No?
yes, it's not a very easy task, is it?
No, I could imagine it must really be a difficult thing as a leader to have to kind of both communicate it, but also to then navigate in it afterwards.
Yeah, the aftermath can be tough, I guess.
Absolutely.
So no matter how well you communicate it, but yeah, just gotta push forward, I guess.
Yeah, I think that is, and I think you guys should push forward to chapter 2, if
Sure.
that's okay. Because I feel like
Yeah.
I'm losing my time. And while you guys do that, I will just quickly explain that the next chapter is same setup. So you again get these 100 hours that you have to kind of distribute between your options. Um, and what is sort of the focus area of this chapter? It's actually the third chapter in the long version of the game. But what's important here is that the two cultures are kind of creating a lot of delays in the processes. So the new setups, the new workflows are maybe not quite as clearly communicated out. Some people would prefer to hold on to their old processes and their old workflows, how they used to be. Um, there's also some structural changes to the hospital, so there are fewer beds, and also the people, the team, the doctors and nurses have to collaborate in a whole different way now, sharing equipment that they didn't used to share, etc. And basically, it is meaning that resistance is spreading, and coworkers are actually going down with stress because it's too much. The changes, the culture, the new ways of things being done. So again, not a particularly easy situation to have to deal with because there are so many elements that you need to kind of focus on. All right, I am going to give you guys a second more to just decide what is happening. All right.
Uh-oh, I made a mess, it seems.
All right. Let's take a look where you are at.
Yeah, I still have 55 hours left here.
Yeah, I think both of you are probably only halfway through your resources.
Yeah.
I'm just very curious. Right. All right. Guys are getting very close to each other in this game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same boat position, it looks like.
Yeah, moving forward.
There we go. Yeah. So, Amand, you still have 3 guys here.
Yeah,
Not
and I
quite
think,
wanting to come with you.
yeah, well, yeah, you know, should you put all your efforts in focusing on everybody, or should you focus on the vast majority? It's always like a give and take there.
Yeah.
So I just figured that these guys are sort of hard to flip. So I haven't really focused too much on them. And then again, I've been pretty pressured on time here, so maybe I haven't made best reflections ever. Again, I had to all these 28 choices is a lot.
Yeah, of course it is.
So I just tried to make some good choices, but in this part of the story, it's about managing the change more. So you have to be a little bit more hands-on and try to be a little bit firmer, maybe, and come up with with more hands-on solutions. But I can't really see all the choices I made now because I took next, and now I am in chapter 3 already here. So, yeah.
But you said when you made your own game on this sort of similar topic, you would use the layer of like management versus leadership, and that's I'm
Management
assuming
versus leadership.
also.
Yeah.
That's also what you're taking into account now here. So you mentioned you were focusing on
Yes,
management.
I am applying more management now. Then leadership is more soft skills, which I try to emphasize in the first chapter. More
Yeah.
management, more structure, more process, more
Mm.
choices, which make the boat move faster ahead. You know, those are typically reflected in the management choices.
Yeah.
So that was the overall, my overall thought.
And normally in a process like this, would you say that you should jump between, so then you do leadership management at certain stages, or is it never that simple?
Well, normally early in a change process, you should have more leadership. Um, Sorry, more management in the
Yeah.
start. You know, more soft skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of
Uh,
sense. And then
yeah.
you are switching forwards and backwards, or is there like a halfway point where you decide now we are focusing on management instead?
No, it always depends on the situation. It always depends on the situation.
Okay.
There's not a rule for everything.
There's no golden rule here.
No,
No, that's it. I like when it becomes very tangible and it's like very easy to kind of grasp and say, okay, in this stage, this is what you do. In this stage, this is what you do. But unfortunately, real life is just never that easy.
no. But start with culture and getting the people to understand the why in the start of a process at least, and be a bit more firm
Mm,
when the process has come along a bit further.
yeah, that makes sense. And
At least in
Anders,
the Nordics.
sorry.
Yeah, at least in the Nordics, I guess.
Yeah, of course, we have a way we like to have it done here.
Yeah.
And
But
how
it must
about you,
vary from
Anders?
region to region. Yeah, that's for sure. Well, I kind of since the introduction told us that even though some people are getting a little stressed and it's taking its toll, I were also told in the introduction that to this chapter at least that things are also moving too slowly. So I kind of adopted the same approach as Simon did with the in the beginning of this chapter. So I went full hardline in the beginning, and that split
Yeah.
my group completely in two. So I was I was not very happy with that. So in somewhat of a panic, I chose the first option, which was called No Dear Mother, which is a fitting name for the hardline approach, and then directly into performance interview. And that wasn't popular. It moved the boat quite a bit, but it was not popular, that's for sure. So in a panic, I tried to choose some options that would reduce resistance for some of the most resistant stakeholders.
Mm,
It didn't have the effect I hoped for. Um, so I tried with the option to coach, and it did have an effect in this chapter, which was really nice. I managed to reduce some resistance, but they were still far back.
yeah.
So for my last option, I selected number 3, which was key coworkers,
Hmm.
where you kind of address the issue directly to each of them individually, do some individual talks, and show my acknowledgement for their efforts. And that was really efficient. So I was happy I selected that one as my last option, because otherwise I would still have two groups completely split.
Mm. And how, I'm thinking maybe you know, Armand, but is there a way to collect these two groups? Like if we take it out as outside of the game and are just thinking theoretically, like is there, would it be management or leadership that would kind of gather the troops here, or a completely different approach maybe?
Yeah, I guess you would have to work with culture, right? So and soft skills. So it would be management.
Yeah,
Sorry, leadership. Why am I mixing everything up today?
it's okay. I think
Um,
we're all
it's been
just
a long
dealing with the
day with
change.
a lot of stuff today. Yeah.
Yeah, and we are also pressuring you to come play with a completely new game with us in a very busy time for you. So don't worry, you are
Yeah,
very much forgiven.
I'll just do my best here and try to finish with a smile.
That's great. Even if you don't, we will still be happy you are here.
Okay, great.
All right. So, um, basically, everything in this hospital is still a mess. Nobody is really understanding the change, or at least grasping what it is they need to change. The cultures are still not quite collaborating, and people are super frustrated and stressed out. That's basically where we're at in the end of chapter 2. If we move on to the third and last chapter of this ultra short version of this very complicated game, we get to the fact that everything is now moved in. The two hospitals have moved in together. At least your department's hospital have moved in together. And there are some different complications in this matter. For example, like some of the people who used to have their own offices where they could, sit quietly and understand and go deep into their research are now having to kind of adjust to being sat in these open offices, and maybe they don't have this area where they can just be quiet and really go down into their research. Anyways, a lot of resistance is basically happening on some certain fronts. But you as the leader still have to push the strategic goals, and as Anders mentioned as well, you still have to push for more efficiency in the work processes. But it's kind of difficult to do the work of getting more efficient, because there is a lot of resistance happening from your team. Um, for example, they have sort of initiated this remote care so that the hospital can remotely talk to clients and diagnose them, help them, and so on. However, there is a lot of your team that don't feel like this is taking proper care of a patient. There is a lot of misdiagnosis. There's a lot of things that are just in generally being missed, because when you're online, you don't necessarily catch everything that the patient is trying to say. Anyway, all of this leads to two very key coworkers quitting. And they are quitting because they believe that the working conditions are actually going against their own personal values. And of course, before they leave quietly, they send out this email to everybody about basically why they have chosen to leave and how they are feeling about the changes that are happening in this merger. And you basically summon your department to a meeting, and that's where you have to make your choices. Now, I personally wouldn't really know what to do after. I don't know if we can call it like a bombshell like this lands in your lap. As a leader, you're challenged enough, right? And then all of a sudden, two key coworkers quit and sort of create a lot of chaos in your team. Let me see how far you guys are here. All right. And again, we are gonna give you guys some time to make your choices. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a time slot because I'm unfortunately not being very good at keeping time. So you guys get another 4 or 5 minutes, but then
All right.
that's it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yikes.
Yeah, I'm sorry I have to be a tough leader, but sometimes you have to do it.
Yeah. Gotta ensure efficiency, right?
Gotta ensure efficiency.
Yeah.
I think you guys just make your final choices. I'm going to jump in here and I'm just going to click through what you've made so far.
Yeah.
So you actually started very closely together with your boats. And you got your stakeholders closer, both of you.
Yeah, I made 2 choices which gave 0 points. So this is a disaster.
And Anders, why do we thing with 0 points? Like, what is? Isn't that super demotivating?
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
can
Or I
be
mean,
for
we can
sure.
ask Armand. I guess is it demotivating?
A little bit. No, but it's how it is, I guess.
But there is a thought behind it, right, Anders? Or am I
Yeah,
making
so
it more complicated?
no, but in this particular type of game, there will be options that are quite beneficial in certain situations, and if you select them at the intended time, we are going to reward that, of course. But in some situations, they will have 0 to very little effect. So it all depends on the timing of selecting those options, and I'm not. I'm not knowledgeable enough about this game to tell you exactly why and when, but there will be options for sure that have a great effect in some
Yeah,
situations and less of an effect in
yeah,
others.
absolutely. I can relate to that.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes hard to grasp all the logics behind each stage in a story.
Of course.
Of
But
course. How
but
in Armand, when you made your own game, right? Is there some choices that give no points when you're playing,
yeah,
or have you?
yeah,
Yeah.
we've decided that too. For example, if you focus too much on reinforcement, keeping the change like very early,
Hmm.
no, it's the wrong measures early in the change process.
And do you get reactions then when you are out and people are playing this game? Do
Absolutely,
people react?
people get very competitive, and people want answers
Mm,
why they didn't get they didn't get points, and then
yeah,
you have to try to relate, to where they are in the process of the change and which theories applies. And although it sounds nice with cake and celebration early on in the change, this should maybe come later. Stuff
after
like
the
that,
work
for
is done.
example. So yeah, people get 0 points sometimes, and they really wonder why, and we have to try to explain.
Do you
This
think that also helps when you are then talking about, well, why did I get 0 points? Do you think that helps their retention of that particular dilemma then? Because they will like, having this feeling that I'm not going to get 0 points next time, that's for sure. Or like
Yeah,
that's at least how I would feel, but I could imagine that it could be actually very demotivating to get 0 points and maybe feel a little bit like, okay, am I maybe in the wrong job, or what am I doing wrong?
yeah. Well, it's for many this is very new and abstract, so I don't think they're gonna feel like they're
Like they are wrong.
losing the like misunderstand their jobs, but no,
Oh,
they
that's
get
good.
over it when we try to explain, why this
All right.
happened. So
That is good then. That is how it should be.
yeah,
All right. So I am just gonna update here. I see you are both done making your decisions now,
yeah,
and this is the end. So, Anders, you managed to get most of your people in front of the change, and so did you, Armand. You both have one person that's not quite where you would like.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and you definitely made it a little bit further around the circle, Anders. So I think we cannot really decline you getting this one.
Thank you. Thank you. Very nice.
Congrats on this.
I love the sound effects.
But let it be said, last time I was here, I won actually.
Ah, that's good.
Yes, you did, Armand.
So it's okay.
It looks like I
You
managed
win
to get a
some, you learn
stakeholder
some,
into
right?
Armand's boat.
So I'm going to just quickly try because we still have 3 minutes left, and I just want to see here. Or I want to show you guys how we can actually compare here how you guys have made your choices. So for example, if we maybe look at the ADCA here, Anders, I'm assuming you are the front here, the full one, and Armand, you are the slightly transparent color. And it looks like Anders, for example, didn't do anything about desire. Anders, did you only do reinforcement?
Well, not on purpose, at least. I think what I did was that I focused on resistance quite a lot, and that seems to have made the reinforcement type of options more efficient than they would have otherwise. So many of those options that are tied to reinforcement will likely also be the ones that have very, very little effect if they are chosen prematurely. But yeah, as mentioned, there are multiple theories in this game, and I don't think I just intentionally focused on reinforcement, but I must have to some extent.
Yeah, because if we look at your data here, Armand, you are actually touching base on every single one of these, as you should, right?
Yeah, I try to, follow the rule book, if you will, and put something into every dimension of the archive. Um,
And that at least you had success,
but at
right?
least that was enough.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just quickly moving on to the Daniel Goleman just to see a different model here. So it seems like I know the text is a little small for you guys to read on the screen, but it looks like you are pink Armand and you are orange Anas. And Anas, you have been very affiliative and pace setting, much more than the others, where Armand, you've tried to be a little bit more evenly distributed on these 6 leadership styles. Apart from coaching, you are not coaching.
No.
No. That is how it is. So this is actually this is quite cool to kind of see how it differs.
Yeah.
Right. So I am going to just pull you guys back up so I can see you again.
Yay.
So we only have 1 minute left of today. I'm sorry, I had a lot of questions for you guys, and I didn't get to ask you a single one of my my thought of questions. But I'm hoping you will join me another time, and we can discuss some different things. But thank you so much for joining in, and thank you so much, Armand. You were telling me this is probably your busiest period or one of them.
Yeah, it's crazy right now, so I just have to get back to work actually. But invite me again, and I'll be better prepared next time,
No, this is perfect. We love to have your first time impression of a game as well. So thank you so
Yeah,
much
sure.
for tuning in and spending this hour with us in your busy schedule. And thank you, Anders, for jumping in as well and sharing your expertise. We will be back here next week with yet another game on corporate bias, which is going to be really, really interesting and fun as well. But have a great afternoon out there and enjoy this Tuesday. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.